Hello again, this is Andy Britnell and Stewart, and this time we're going to focus on one of the main principles of leading and developing high performance, which is the aspects of high support and high challenge. So Ali, welcome again, and could you elaborate a little on what this actually means?
Well, hello Andy. Yes, high challenge and high support is the underpinning mindset that all leaders need. Without it, you're not going to do it properly. So if you are operating with too much challenge, for instance, it'll be too stressful for your people.
Right.
And you won't get consistent development.
So how does high challenge cause the stress then? What's the aspects that are negative about high challenge sometimes?
Well, if you are constantly just focusing on the task, on bottom line performance, on getting things done, on achieving, and you're never ever telling the person how well they're doing or anything like that, it can be a very unhealthy place to be.
Yeah, so that they don't feel fulfilled, they don't feel valued.
That's absolutely
why should I bother? Because they only focus on my mistakes, and
yes,
that sort of process goes on within someone, and they tend not to perform very well because of that.
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Or if they're challenged but they're not supported, so if they're asked to do a task that is much more difficult, but then it's their fault if it goes wrong, it's not going to work.
Right, okay. So the high challenge is, you still need the high challenge, but it's got to be supported by high support.
Absolutely right. But then go too far the other way, too much support, and you tend to smother people, and they never ever get the chance to be the best they can be. Because typically if you're too supporting, if they don't put in good work, you might redo it yourself because it's quicker and you don't want to upset them.
Right.
Something like that.
So too much support can mean that they get comfortable and they don't feel that they need to push very hard because you're going to finish it off for them, so why bother?
That's right. And it might be a really nice, happy working environment and people might really, really enjoy it, but they are never really stretched.
Right, so again, if we're focusing on what this is all about, which is performance, if there's too much challenge, the performance won't come. If there's too much support, then the performance won't come either.
That's right, and if you have got neither high challenge or high support, well, we've all been in places like that where it's really, you don't feel it's worth going to work in the morning.
Right, okay.
Where you're just not valued or understood or anything else.
So there's certain aspects of motivation here, isn't there? That
Absolutely.
Sometimes people are motivated by having a bit of a more challenging task to do, and they're motivated if maybe they don't do so well, but they're supported in improving their performance.
That's right. So the best way is to have high challenge and high support in powerful and equal combination. Because if you get the balance of the two, you get consistent high achievement and development.
Right. So is there any place where you might, depending on the situation, you would flex between the two?
Well, to an extent, Andy, but you operate with this approach that the two in balance, so you're going to know what each person needs, either to be stretched a little bit or to be more supported, but it's a perfect balance.
So in some ways you need to understand the people that you're dealing with in quite
absolutely
depth.
Fundamental, yes.
Right. So in order to achieve the performance, you need to know, okay, do I use high support or
that's absolutely
high challenge, and what's
that's
going to be appropriate?
Absolutely right. And there's whole chunks of the book devoted to absolutely understand what motivates your people.
Yeah, and there are some principles that underpin the high challenge and high support. What sort of things do you look at?
Well, there are indeed. Positive regard and genuineness, which comes from good counselling theory.
Positive regard is counselling theory, and unconditional positive regard is what it's called from a counselling context. How do you approach it in leading, developing high performance?
Well, as a leader, you only ever have to comment on the person's behaviour. Are they up to the task or aren't they? You're never ever commenting on the person. So you maintain positive regard for the person and you're only ever commenting on behaviour.
Right, okay. What about the thing about genuineness? Can you expand about what genuineness is?
With genuineness, you need a certain amount of assertiveness as a leader to be able to say genuinely what you think in a very frank, open and honest honest way. So if somebody is not behaving as you want them to, you need to be able to tell them. And indeed, if they are behaving as you want them to, you need to be able to tell them that frankly as well.
So it's almost like being genuine with praise and being genuine with your...
Absolutely right.
With focusing on behaviour which is not appropriate to create high performance.
Yes, and you know, again, you will have been on the receiving end of praise which isn't supported with that genuineness, and it makes you feel really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's sort of almost a hollow praise, and you think, well, I don't really believe that is praise, they're just doing it as a technique.
Yes.
Okay, so positive regard and genuineness underpin.
That's right, and then a couple of other theories as well, like reinforcement theory. So catching people doing something right is a fundamental skill of high-performing leaders. So consistently, every single day, catching people doing the right thing and commenting on it is what matters.
Yeah, so you're supporting that behaviour, saying this is the right behaviour to use here for you to develop, and being genuine about that is...
That's right, and so often we take the good stuff for granted and we only ever have a bit of a rant when things go wrong.
Yeah.
And then expectations theory, so expecting people to perform highly, and then they will perform to your expectations. If you expect low performance, that's what you'll get.
Yeah, and there's something that I look at which is around beliefs, that your belief about a person will affect their performance. And there's lots of research that's been done about this you can find on the web.
Yes.
Okay, so that's really interesting. The high support and high challenge has been explained to us now. But those other concepts around positive regard and genuineness, perhaps we'll be exploring those in the future a little bit more on our videos and on the blog, in order to help you understand the whole process of and the mindset of leading and developing high performance.
Absolutely.
So thank you again very much, Ali. It's lovely to see you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on future videos.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you very much.